Good afternoon. No, it is not afternoon. It is the middle of the night. Good night, good evening, whatever, whenever you are seeing this. To my friends, this is Zuri. You have once again found Talk Yarny to me. This is going off to a swimming start. As you see, I am rusty. It has been a good 2 weeks since I talked to you guys. I think it was Mother's Day weekend the last time I recorded. But I'm back. I have not recorded because one, just been tired and busy and all that, and two, because I don't have a lot of new stuff to show you because I've been feverishly working on one thing. If you've been around, you might know what that is, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But I wanted to get back on here because I wanted to show you this thing. It's not done yet, but it has made a lot of progress. Plus, I have a new thing that I started this week, and yeah, we'll just talk. It's gonna be quick because, like I said, I've been doing pretty much one thing for the whole last couple of weeks. Okay, so that one thing is my graduation present blanket. I'll show you, but I'll show you this other stuff first. First, I did start a new sock. I think I'm becoming one of those people that will always have a sock on the needles because it is just an easy, grabby thing, especially now my yarn is going through the needles. Hold on. My cable is wrapped around the cable somehow. Okay. So, new pair of socks on the hook. I believe these are going to be for me. Maybe. Probably. Is it still? Did I make it worse? Okay, there we go. This is made with the yarn that my boss sent me. One of the yarns that my boss sent me, or that he had our vendor send me. I still have never figured out what the mechanism was of how I got this yarn, because he didn't even know what I got. So he must have had there must have been some budget for one of our vendors to like send us some swag. I don't know why. I don't know. I didn't ask enough questions. But this one is Sugar Sake. Yeah. Come on, Sugar Sake. What are you? From Universal Yarns. It's knit, relax, smile, repeat. I don't know why I said that. That's, I guess, their motto. It is 3.5 ounce, 100 grams, 459 yards, 420 meters of a super fine, 50% superwash merino, 25% bamboo, 25% nylon. So this is an interesting combination. It feels soft. It feels good. It's very thin. I like it because, as you guys know, my first sock I did was with Patton's Croy, which is a thick. It claims to be a super fine as well, or fine. What do you claim to be? Yeah, it also claims to be a super fine. It is at least twice. Sorry, let me find you a spot. Twice the thickness. Like, you see the difference there. You probably can't see the difference because I'm not doing a very good job of showing you. But there we go. So this is a chunky super fine, and it made a chunky sock. This one is a much finer super fine. So yeah, I'm doing these on size 1s again. I thought about trying like a 2 or something and just seeing how I liked it, but I decided to stick with the 1s for these because it's, like I said, it's a very thin fine. And like I said, they'll probably be for me. I just started them. I did 20. This is, once again, Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern, and 20 rows of ribbing. I think the next one I do, I'm gonna do the twisted rib, but I just did ribbing because I think I was just doing, this is something I just like grabbed because the box was like right by me while I was working the other day. And then I've done like 10 rows of stockinette, so just barely started it. Nothing, but because now I got these metal needles, like I'm not afraid to take these around with me, so I can take them around with me and just work on them whenever I feel like it. I was talking to my boss because I had a one-on-one with him last week, and he was saying, I don't remember, he was just like, oh yeah, happy knitting or whatever. And I was like, did I ever show you what I got? And he was like, no, I have no idea. So I showed it to him. I was like, he was showing it. And then the company that they came from, which is called Knotted Fiber, it was they're based in Washington, and my boss is originally from Washington, which is kind of how I was like, oh, maybe this came from him. but he told me, he was telling me that that's the company that he sent. He used to own like a fiber yarn company years ago in some like previous life, and that's the name of the company that he sold his yarn company to. And he couldn't remember the name of the actual fiber company. I wish I wish he could. I don't know. He's like, I've had a lot of companies. He started naming them, like going back. He's like, I remember my first company, da, da, da. And he was like, that was in this year. And I was like, oh, I was a teenager. And he was like, so was I. It turns out he's a year younger than me. So he was like 15, and him and his friends started some tech company or something. I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel like I wasted my life. It's just, and I told him, I was like, it's always great when your boss is younger than you. Like, it's always fun. And he was understanding. But anyway, so there's that. And then the only other thing, I kind of a little bit worked on this. This probably looks almost exactly the same as it did last time you saw it. I don't remember if I had switched colors, but I have since at least switched colors. So we are on we're back to the pale peach. This looks so washed out, like compared to the cosmetic pink, and then you go back to the, I think this is light pink. Once by the time you get to the pale peach, it looks so washed out, right? But this is it. It's the last block. I've gotten 2 of the 12 repeats done, and then we'll be done. And this will be my huge blank. Well, it won't be done because I want to square it off or rectangle it off or whatever. Definitely want to put a border on the side, especially this side, because I carried the yarn all the way up instead of I'm losing, my stitches are coming out. Instead of cutting, because that would have been the most miserable experience of my life. So I carried the yarn up the side. So especially this side, I want to add something to a border or something in order to just make it a little nicer. This one's okay, but still. And then I don't want to keep the pointy chevrons. I want to square it out. So that's what I'm gonna do, but I only worked on that like a little bit this past week, just at work. Because I've been busy. I haven't even really had time to, like, usually I have time to sit around and reach over. I'm in like enough meetings that I can like turn my camera off, and even if I have my camera on, the way my camera sits, like it's below, I can always like crochet, and you can't even tell I'm moving my arms. So it's great. But I don't know, this week has been busy. I have projects, like I can barely even remember all my projects. Like I'll be like, I think I'm done, and then I like go to my email and there's like 2 other things that I totally forgot. So it's been like that. Anyway, so onto the main reason we are gathered here today. So excited about this. I have made so much progress. I don't even remember where I was the last time I showed you this, but I wasn't done with the C2C graph yet, and I am very much done with the C2C graph part of this. So if you guys recall, I am making a graduation cap / diploma graph-gan for my niece who graduated on Wednesday. This obviously was not done in time. Today is Saturday, actually it's Sunday now. It's already Sunday the 25th. She graduated on Wednesday, which was the 21st. But I also didn't go to her graduation, so she's not, I call her my niece, but she's not. She's the daughter of a long-time friend of mine. So I've known her since she was 2, but she has actual aunts and uncles who flew in from abroad to see her graduate. So I was bumped. Which is I'm fine with, because it was on a Wednesday night, and her school is without traffic, it's over an hour from me. So with traffic, I think I've driven to her school after work before to see her do like an orchestra concert, and it was not a fun experience to drive. The concert was fine. Anyway, enough stalling. So here, first I'm going to show you. This is the graph. I hope I can see it. So you see, am I on the right side before no, I'm showing you the ugly side. All right. Try not to spoil, I mean, I guess you can see it anyway, but okay, here's the graph. Try not to spoil the border, because that's what I've been working. Hopefully you're at the bottom. Can you see it's at the bottom? There's the diploma, and then the cap and gown, not the cap and gown, the cap. Okay. And this is the border that I've been working on, because the diploma, like the graph-gan part by itself, I just realized my camera is a little fuzzy. I think it's the glare from the lights, so I can't do much about that. The actual graph is probably about 34, 35 inches. Like, I haven't laid it out perfectly flat to measure it, but like just measuring it, it's usually 34, 35 inches, which obviously is too small. So I've been, for a while, I was like, I'm gonna do a block stitch border. So I started this block stitch border last week or earlier this week. I think last weekend maybe. And I got a few rows in, and I noticed almost immediately that it was waving. What is that called? Rippling quite badly. And I was like, let me do a couple of rows. Let me see if it'll kind of even itself out a bit. It did not. I could tell that it was going to just get worse and worse. I'll put a picture here of it rippling, the ripples, and you'll see. This is it laying flat on the floor. And you can see it rippling. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. And I remember the last time I did a C2C blanket, I did like a baby blanket. I did some C2C squares, and then I joined them together and put a border on it. And that one rippled really bad when I put the border on too. So I think it's just like that pattern or that stitch doesn't lend itself well to, like, it doesn't have a lot of leeway in, like, as far as like adding stitches to it around it, you know, like there's a sweet spot of how many you should add per, you know. Either way, what I originally did was your typical block stitch, which is like I did the single crochet, chain to single crochet, like in between each of the individual. So these are the C2C blocks, and you see I put the kind of foundation row. Can you see that? In between the C2C blocks right here, okay? And then I built off of those with your traditional 3 double crochets in each block, in each chain. And that's what was causing ripples. So I was like, okay. I put it to a couple of Facebook groups I'm in, and you know how people are on Facebook. They want to be know-it-alls. They're all like, there's too many stitches. There's too many stitches. I was like, yeah, I know there's too many stitches. I'm asking either like, you know, so I asked like, I'm thinking either going down to hook size, or do you guys have a better, like a stitch that works better with C2C for a border? And a couple of people suggested stitches. Most people were like, you have too many stitches. You have too many stitches. I was like, thanks. Okay, great. And then somebody kind of co-signed what I was already thinking. They were like, well, every time I do a C2C, I end up having to do 2 double crochets instead of 3, and go down at least a hook size. So that's what I did. At first I thought about just going down a hook size and seeing how I work, but the thought of like doing all that work around like a couple of rows just to see the same problem like was devastating to me. So I was like, let me just go full thing. Like, and so that's what I did. I went down from a 5.5, this is in 5.5, to a 5 hook for the border. And then I do just 2 double crochets instead of 3 for the block stitch. So it makes it a little, block stitch is not the most solid stitch anyway, but it makes it even more like a meshier than traditional block stitch, I feel like. So that's what I did. I was planning to do it just like this until I got to my desired size, but this right here, after 10 rows, like 5 blocks or whatever, I was like, I can't. I was like, the thought of weaving all these in. So I did just black. I went to just black, and originally my thought was to do like 5 rows of just black to match these 5 rows. 5, it's not rows because it's 2 row repeat, but 5 repeats, I guess, of just black, and then 5 repeats of green. But then as I went through this, I was like, you know what would be cool would be to do 5 repeats of the block stitch again, but make the black the main color. And I was like, oh, let me see how much I have once I finish my 5 solid blocks. And this is all I've got left. So I was like, let me see, like, because I have like a million more of the sage green, and I bought more because obviously the pattern is more green than black in the actual graph. Like, what are words in the actual graph? And so I bought extra sage like right at the tail end of, before the liquidations, but right at the tail end of Joann's being a real store. This is, by the way, all in Big Fish Value. So black, and this is sage green. So I went back and I bought some more extra of the sage. Remember when they were having those really good sales? Like everything was like 50% off. Plus you could find, plus there's an extra 25% coupon floating around if you ordered online. That's when I did it. So this is like the last like true Joann purchase I made that wasn't a liquidation sale thing, I think. Anyhow, but I didn't buy the extra blacks, and I wish I had because, yeah, because I don't ever really buy black or white unless I'm buying it for something. Like I am so bad about keeping those neutrals on, like in my stash. So I went out to my garage and I was looking to see if I had any more because I don't have any more blacks like with I'm keeping like all of the, can you see it? You can't see it. I have like, it's behind my chair. I have like this little one of those plastic drawers, 3 drawer sets that I keep in yarn for this project and for this project in. It's in the corner over there, but I didn't have any black in there, so I was like, let me go look in the garage. And I did find some Hobby Lobby. I love this yarn black. And maybe some other, some Craftsmart maybe. But those are like, they're chunkier than this. They're thicker and they're like spun tighter. Like Big Twist Value tends to be spun pretty loose, and like just the feel of it is different. So I was like, it'll work in a pinch, but let me see. I can't decide yet. And in just this minute, actually, I went back in the garage for something totally unrelated earlier today, and I saw in my totes, like in a tote way at the bottom, I was like, that looks like Big Twist's label in black, and it looks black. And so I just went right now before I started recording and dug in there, and sure enough, bam, I have no idea when I bought this or why, because like I said, I do not generally buy black or white, so I probably bought it for a reason and never ended up using it. So yeah, so I will have enough to like kind of fulfill my vision, which will be great. So like I said, the graph itself was about 34, 35 inches. These rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure. These repeats of 5 block stitch things, they're like 3.5 inches each. So if you go all the way around, it's about 7 inches. So that took it to from like 34 inches to like 41 inches. And then now I'm at, with this black row, took it then to like about 47 inches, I think. I measured it like right before I came down here. I think it was like 46, 47 inches, not quite 48 if I recall. But I also did it on my bed, like not laid out, like perfectly laid out flat, like just a rough back of the envelope measurement. So if I do how I really want to do it, which is to do another row of traditional block stitch, like the alternating color one, but make black the primary color, and then I'll do a solid green one to finish it out. That'll get me just over 60 inches, 5 feet, which is, I think, a really good blanket size. I could be done now. Like I'm sitting here now, and it's too big right now for a lap blanket. Like it's how I like it, but like it's in my lap, it's covering my feet, it's covering the sides of my legs. Like it's definitely good for like sitting at your computer doing some work. Right, which she's going to be a college student. She's going to college in the fall, so that'll be good for that. But, I like to make a substantial blanket. It's just me. So that's what I'm going to do. Going to go, so it's going to give me just over 60 inches. I think it'll be perfect. My niece is like my height, maybe a little taller, I believe. So she'd be like 5'3", 4", I think. But she may be shorter. It's hard to tell. I haven't stood next to her for a while, but she always claims she's taller than me. But I don't ever want to stand close enough for her to prove it, because that will make me sad, because I've known her since she was 2. So, but I believe she's probably taller than me now. Everyone is, including 2 of my 3 children. Ugh. Anyhow, this is it. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. It was definitely a good experience for my first Grafcan. I feel like I learned a lot. I hope you guys saw it. You're probably seeing all the cat and dog hair on this. Don't worry, I'm gonna wash it. My pets have been like loving my bed lately, for one, and I need to wash my comforter because I don't technically allow my dogs on, like especially the dog. The cat can do whatever he wants because I'm not trying to train a cat. But the dogs know they're not supposed to be on the bed. And my one dog, he's like always like he'll sneak on the bed, and then when he hears me coming, he'll jump down and he'll like come to my bedroom door and just kind of look at me all innocent, like, hey, I wasn't doing anything. What are you doing? What are you doing up here? That's what he does. If I leave the door open. And then sometimes he just won't bother. If he's in a good sleep, he will not bother getting up. He'll be like laying, sleeping on my bed in the middle of my bed, and she'll like look up, open one eye, and like sigh or moan all dramatically. And then I have to like make him get off the bed, and he's very passive aggressive about it. He's like, go as slow as possible, these long stretches. I'm like, sir, get down. But anyway, my moral story is there's like a lot of dog and cat hair on my bed, which is where I've been working on it the most. Plus down here, living room, where I worked on it a lot this week because now I'm not at the part where I have to count anymore. And even like laying it out on the floor, there's cat hair. So I will wash it. So if you saw all of it looks so dirty. If you saw all the cat and dog hair, you can see it kind of in the black parts. Just rest assured, it will not be gifted in that condition. Anything else? That is it. This is a short one today, 20 minutes, so it's not that short. I cannot wait to finish this and this. I'll be so glad. I feel like I can knock both these out this week, maybe. Once I finish this sock is just for like whenever I feel like it. I think the next thing I'm gonna do is my t-shirt, which I haven't touched in like 2 weeks, is going to go back to being like my primary up in my room when my day is done, when I can focus and counting project, because it has a lot of stuff I gotta count. That'll be that. I'm going to cast on my flax sweater. I'm pointing this way because the yarn for it is on this chair here, couch chair underneath the blanket. That's why I'm pointing there. I have a cardigan, crochet cardigan that I want to cast on. I should do another crochet project. I have one crochet cardigan I want to cast on. I gotta think up another crochet project. I might need your help, honestly, because we'll talk about it another time. We'll talk about it next time. But I have some yarn that I have I want to do something really special with, because it's just the most beautiful. And yeah, so I'm gonna need your advice on what I can do with it. And then I think I'm gonna try to do like a crochet wearable with some of my Hirschner's mill-ins. I think I will. So I'll need you guys' advice on that too, like what I can do with those. I mean, yeah, I don't mean like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Some ideas of things you guys may have done with like those or other 2-weight equivalents to those. Just because I have so many. I've used, out of the 30 that I've gotten, I have used 3. So I have 27 to go. And I actually bought one. I bought one because I'll show you. The one that I actually think is the most beautiful, that's the one that's special. And went to Hobby and actually bought the same one just to make sure I have enough so I can do whatever I want with it. I'll show it to you next time. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. You guys have a great Memorial Day. We're not doing anything. Going to my in-laws probably. Hopefully they cook something good. I mean, that sounds so entitled, doesn't it? They cook for every holiday. And yeah. They cook really well, because my mother-in-law cooks well. My father-in-law, he helps her and he'll cook some certain things. And then my sister-in-law and her husband, they like live in the basement. It sounds bad, but they actually bought the house from my in-laws, and then once they go on, like they'll like with the understanding that they get to stay in the house, the main house, part of the house, until they don't. And then my sister-in-law and her husband can, have the whole thing. But they got it at like a ridiculously low price. So they live down in the basement, and her husband like is really good with like meats. He's really good cook in general, but he hunts a lot, and so he like also knows how to like cook meats and like steaks and grill stuff really well. So they always have good food when they do stuff over there. So anyway, that's probably what we're doing. Nothing special. I hope you guys have a fun long weekend. Those of you that have it, I think Canada has it as well. I don't know who else is having a long weekend. Oh, I know UK is as well, I believe, because my coworkers in the US, I think are all UK. I think are off this weekend on Monday. I mean, if not, they just had a bank holiday or they're just about to have a bank holiday. Like, I know it falls really close. They're, yeah. Anyway, so everyone that's gonna have some time off, I hope you enjoy it. Until I talk to you again, I will see you soon. All right, bye-bye.